So, Kenneth, I mean, what was it that first attracted you to Thor? Because it's obviously not a project most people would necessarily think it's something that you would go for.
Well, I did know the comic and I knew the character, and I was very fascinated by this big, primitive, powerful man who could barely control his own strength, who didn't think much, who smashed and crashed and threw this hammer around. I liked the idea of that, him as a god with that kind of problem or a character, somehow making a difference in a superhero movie. And that his journey set amidst all the spectacle of the kind of world this kind of picture occupies was exciting. Different for me, but a good surprise. I'm happy to be surprised and happy to try and rise to the challenge.
I mean, a challenge, is that something you always look for? I mean, everyone knows you as the Shakespeare guy, but you've directed Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and I saw you in London in Edmund in a very revealing role before, and now you're doing this big budget 3D special effects loaded movie. I mean, was that a challenge you went, yeah, this is something I really want to try?
I think as an artist, you want to be taken out of your comfort zone. I think if you're going to learn anything, you have to be out there and exposed and vulnerable. You have to be in the arena, taking chances. It's definitely not always comfortable, and there were times on this, if I'm honest, where it gets to be almost overwhelming because of the sheer scale of it, the size of it. And also, if I'm honest, occasionally you see it as excitement, but there's no question there is pressure attendant on this kind of thing, and that takes a bit of getting used to. But it's a good. It's you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and at all times remember, for the little nanosecond when you may feel that, who could resist this kind of playbox with the things you mentioned, 3D and visual effects, the chance to put men on horses on a rainbow bridge in the middle of outer space. That's unusual and exciting.
I mean, when you sign your name on the dotted line to do this project, I mean, were you thinking about, right, I've got a lot to live up to? I mean, Marvel fans, they love these heroes, and obviously you're used to the Shakespeare aficionados passing judgment, but are you ready for the pressures from them?
Every single part of this project, from the moment I was even in talks with Marvel to maybe be doing this, through every single piece of casting, through every piece of reveal of a costume, of a helmet. We were at Comic-Con last year and we put the helmets on show, we put the Destroyer on show, we had Odin's throne, and these things were subject to the most intense debate at a level of detail which is astonishing. So much so that you can only take broadly what catches your eye by way of the things people like about the sort of Thor universe, but determine when you make the film that crossover into film, it is not a comic, it is a film.
Yes.
Is a point at which decisions have to be made that change in a positive way, and if you do it with love, you do it with respect, you offer it out there, and frankly you expect it to be debated at the very least, possibly loathed by some, but you hope entertaining to all. And I'd like to think, a friend of mine who was an absolute fanboy came to it and said that he'd had a nerdgasm. So maybe that's a good sign.
And obviously one big thing about this film is it's going to be a complete life changer for Chris. I mean, as well as being in Thor now, you've got the Avengers coming, and he's going to be huge, and he's fantastic in the role.
Oh,
I mean,
nice to hear you say that, because I agree with you. He's fantastic in the part, yeah.
And what was your part in casting Chris?
Well, I was obviously there as we met with or viewed tapes from actors all over the world over 3 or 4 months, and he came at the beginning. We didn't quite know what our Thor character was, but we did a couple of months later, and he came back in and he read and he tested and he read with people and he screen tested and he did some physical stuff, and we put him through a sort of choreographed fight, and we knew his action was going to be terrific, a great sense of sort of choreographic rhythmic adroitness, and crucially he had an acting range that the part needed. He starts and he finishes at different. It's a superhero who genuinely changes before our very eyes in quite a significant way. Needed humor, needed fieriness, fire in the belly, ability to hold a scene with Mr. Hopkins or Miss Portman.
I was going to say, he has a great scene up against, well, numerous scenes up against Anthony Hopkins, so that must be pretty daunting for him.
I think exciting. It was funny, the first of these scenes we shot in this observatory set, Idris Elba's character Heimdall has this sort of gateway to the universe that is an amazing globe set which felt like an arena, a kind of gladiatorial arena, and Hopkins is in the middle and above, and you know, the son who's in the wrong, who's done the terrible thing, is below but angry, and it felt very intense. And literally, in Hopkins's character's view, the future of the universe is at stake. So it's hot. It's a hot scene. And also, it's a scene between a man who runs the universe and the man who's supposed to be running the universe next, and between a father and his son. And I love the friction of that. But Chris came in with respect, but with absolute determination to fulfill his end of the scene.
And was Anthony Hopkins always someone you wanted to cast as the ruler of the known universe?
For you know, a character that wears a helmet a lot, armor, doesn't move too much, has the big spear, and one eye, you needed an actor who could convey this gravitas, weight, and wiliness. Odin's a very cunning character. He's had many adventures himself. Part of his problem with Thor is that Thor reminds him of himself, and it's a case of, you know, don't do as I say, don't do as I do, do as I say. And so we wanted that all suggested. And Tony's technique at this stage in his life is so refined and so beautifully economic that you get that without, you know, without too much effort, and you put at the center of the film a massive piece of credibility.
Mm. And also with Chris again, I love his chemistry with Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, was she someone you wanted from the beginning?
Definitely in the world of a superhero movie, at least as I am slowly learning, perhaps, the concept of reality is relative. You have to create a world where rules to some extent of what's real and what isn't can be understood, and disbelief can be suspended if you believe enough through Natalie's character and through her playing of it. When she says, in quoting Arthur C. Clarke, science is just magic we don't understand. Magic is just science we don't understand yet. You need to feel that credibility, see her as a maverick scientist, see that when she's looking out there into the night sky, that she may see something that the rest of us don't. She also has that light comedy touch. She has this, just all the great actors do, a gift for truth, lightly done, and the kind of chemistry between the pair of them, who both have a sort of shared sense of humour, was very good, and they didn't overburden the love story. They just begin it, really. I mean, it doesn't try to pretend that that it has earned its weight yet, but beautiful to play with, and a ravishing actress in every way.
Well, thank you so much for your time. That was excellent. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Pleasure meeting you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.